Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, dropping in to say, hey, Red Raider fan, have you noticed we're pretty well living the high life?
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now the number one sports podcast network in the world. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. Get started at FanDuel.com today. With FanDuel, play your game. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan, dropping in to catch up, Chris, on a weekend that was coming up roses just about any way you slice it for the good guys and gals in red and black. Hope you joined us for our conversation already we had earlier as we reacted to the Red Raider win in Morgantown. Grant McCaslin and company taking care of business, but not the only ones, Chris, as on some of the more visible fronts for Texas Tech athletics over the weekend, we saw wins on the road for Krista Gerlich and the Lady Raiders. We saw a big win for the Texas Tech softball team as they're beginning their season still early on, but one of the top in the nation, and a little added layer of enjoyment to it because it came at the expense of the Aggies of Texas Agricultural and Mechanical University. Chris, going down smooth every time we've got a chance to react to things like this. But as we're catching up this afternoon, was curious to pick your brain a little bit about where we stand with the athletics department at large, because I know you and I have been riding this roller coaster for quite some time, and there have been some peaks, there have been some valleys. And I'm wondering, in a moment, I want to ask you about maybe the next box to check. Sans national title. What's one of the next big lines to cross now that a football conference championship has been captured? Something that was a long, long time coming. But how about the weekend? And I know you got to take in some of what I mentioned.
I will fully admit I think I consumed 95% of the balls and strikes and the content via the SEC network on my phone. Saturday night in Morgantown, West Virginia. I was on the bus. I was at Hope Coliseum for a shoot-around. I was at Olivero's Italian restaurant for dinner, and I was watching Texas Tech softball. Yeah, I was. Me, this guy. I even had to ask the question to somebody that I was with, hey, man, I've forgotten from last year, but these games are 7 or 9 innings. I'm like, I was like, it just goes to show you, like, I'm new to the softball party. Hey, man, I'm here, and I'm here for a long time, right? I watched that whole thing. It was fascinating. It was the SEC folks that were doing the game basically kept saying this is a playoff atmosphere, and it's like they set a record for attendance and all that, but it came off on TV. Like I was shocked. And Texas A&M was also hosting University of Florida in basketball, like, semi close by that night. And so it looked like it was an interesting night on the old campus at Texas A&M that night. But it was what, 2 home runs to lead it off. And then I think Maya Williams hit a stand-up double and knocked the game winner in. And then Nyjah Kennedy, she was able to pitch the complete game and seal it. And Red Raiders are rolling. What do they go, 6-0 over on this little road trip that they were on to start out the season?
Still a 0 in the loss column, so always good to see. And I'm proud of them as well for being willing to.
I was looking just to make sure, but the Aggies softballers went down, right? We're talking about it. And then, I hate the head coach for Florida. He's a thing. But yeah, they did mean things to the Texas A&M Aggies that night. So it was a festive atmosphere. It just ended poorly on all fronts. But yeah, I was tuning in for some softball. How crazy is that? I've also tuned into another game too. They're playing Lafayette. I'm like, what is wrong with me? No, man, I've caught the bug. You're good at it. Maybe you're the best. So yeah, I was doing my thing. I mean, I earpods in or AirPods in and watching the phone and softball in February on a basketball trip. What is wrong with me?
I mean, you're a national runner-up, so I think if you weren't tuned in, then something would be wrung with you. We are grizzled veterans of the softball game by this point in time. Throwback fans from way back when. I think it was very generous. I just wanted to mention that I was proud of the program, Coach Glasgow, for being willing to lend a hand and go down and make an appearance at some ramshackle ballpark for some ragtag up-and-coming group. Hadn't been much since, I don't know, the 80s or so. What, a 1 seed or something, then bounced, I think, first round. Maybe it's hard to keep up with what they got going out there, but it was a big opportunity for them. And I think just being on the same field as the Red Raiders, very, very generous of Texas Tech's time. So kudos for that. Shout out to the Lady Raiders getting a win on the road as well in Houston, Chris. And they've kind of got me thinking, if you're looking at this athletics department and there was a huge box left unchecked and Joey McGuire checked it, winning a football conference championship, not just like this decade or this quarter of century or this millennium. I mean, it's a long time coming, just trying to capture one of those outright unto ourselves. You did that. I'm now looking at what's next. First, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, and the Winter Games are officially here. And if you're anything like us, you're locking in for events you only get to see on the biggest stage every 4 years. And that's why following the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The drama of curling, where the intensity keeps ratcheting up, or speed skating races decided by mere inches. FanDuel electrifies the entire Olympic experience from start to finish. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. Today's episode brought to you by Open Door Financial. And if you're a Red Raider balancing family and career this time of year, you're probably assessing the year gone by, forecasting for the future. And whether it's retirement, getting out of debt, leaving a legacy for your kids, or more, here's the thing. Open Door Financial is the one that's doing it the way that's best suited for you and your family's interests. Most advisors trying to sell something hit quotas, only working with clients with huge investment minimums, but that's not how they do it at Open Door Financial Advisors. And Chris, even better, it's a Red Raider that you're going to be talking with. Founded by a 2007 Texas Tech grad right here in Lubbock, and now over a decade and a half spent helping Red Raiders.
Yeah, Cowan, Derek lives in Lubbock. He's buying pizzas for the campers out there from before these football and basketball games, things like that. I mean, he gives back. I mean, he's a trusted Texas Tech guy. I know that so many people out there, whatever they're trying to do, they want to do business with fellow Red Raiders. This is your man. So Derek Finley, phenomenal guy you can trust. And it doesn't matter if you're flush and trying to figure out what to do with it, or if you're just trying to budget and trying to get out of debt, anything in between, he's your guy. He will take care of you and get you pointed in the right direction.
That's right. Over a decade and a half serving Red Raider families across the country, one simple mission, helping you gain financial freedom and peace of mind, no matter where you are starting from. And it's a subscription-based fee-only model, so never earning commissions on anything they're selling you, which means no hidden agendas, no investment minimums, only straightforward advice, all while living by West Texas values, truth, and grit. So if you're ready to work toward financial freedom, visit opendoorfa.com, opendoorfa.com to connect with Open Door Financial Advisors, honest guidance for Red Raider families who want to take care of what matters most. I'm now looking at what's next, and I know there are national title aspirations, so I actually just want to table that clearly. That would be the next huge box to check for anybody. But you've had conference championships captured with the men's basketball program, extreme postseason success with the men's basketball program. You got the conference title for the football program. We're looking for postseason success now there as well. I sort of wonder about the Lady Raider basketball program and either relevant in-season conference success or relevant postseason success. Maybe being back to one of those boxes that you really desperately need to check. I mean, softball program, like I already said, national runner-up and conference prize as well. So I don't know what's outstanding. You think still there, as so many things are kind of rolling right now, and you just got a huge monkey off your back with the football team.
Yeah, if you're just talking like Lady Raider stuff, and I know we get a lot of commentary wanting us to talk about it more. It's not necessarily our focus, but when you're, I think, what are they, 22-3 right now, and obviously having just a kind of a bust out type season, and mostly unexpected, I think, from a lot of folks. Which these are always the most fun. To me, it's, can that program do it consistently? The problem that Coach Gerlich has got is I think the top 9 players on her team are seniors. So what can you build off of with what they've done this year and carried into next year? Good question. Consistency. You start talking about, because you had some baseball, obviously trips to the Omaha. Boy, doesn't that feel like a long time ago now? Because that feels, I mean, you were 13 games below 500 last year on the season. That seems like that is going to be tough to replicate. You've never really sniffed this since you tied for it. I think it's maybe even in some ways tougher now, because I think the league is tougher now than it was, but a regular season men's basketball championship is would be fun, especially if you could win it outright. But man, you're sitting here at 4th or 5th in the league right now, and you're 3 games behind first place. I mean, that's a lot to try to make up for. So that seems a bit unrealistic, but you've won track championships. You've won a conference championship in football, men's basketball, as you mentioned. It's a pretty good world you're living in right now. The challenge though is can you crack the code enough to where you become part of the old guard in time in some of these sports? Are these 1 or 2 year windows, or is this hey, 7 years from now, it's they're just, because I think men's basketball in a way is kind of, they've been the one program, shockingly, they've been the one program that maybe gets the most national street cred. And I say shockingly because of some of the bad times that they've had, but the fact that you've now done this with 3 different head coaches. And in fact, you've gone to the NCAA tournament under the last 4 head coaches, what only spans back to 2016. So in the last decade, you've been in the NCAA tournament with 4 different head coaches. That speaks to your program, not just your coach. Yes, you've been in NCAA tournaments. Yes, you've been to Sweet 16s. Yes, you've been to Elite Eights. Yes, you've been to the Final Four. Yes, you've been in the national title game. And in some cases, you've done this on multiple occasions. Grant Durant just coming off of the Elite Eight. I mean, Mark Adams took him to the Sweet 16. I mean, we know what Beard did in the back-to-back years, and obviously Tubby took him to the NCAA tournament. So that is what is now. Can football? Can they build this? Can the Lady Raiders is this just a one-timer, or can you keep it rolling? Because we see what baseball used to be thought of in this realm, and now they would not be talked about in this way. Maybe it's because the rules changed. Maybe it's because of NIL. Maybe it's because philosophy or scholarship limitations or reductions or what. I mean, I don't know. But that's interesting question to kind of debate out there, and could elicit a lot of different answers or responses. But consistency is the most difficult thing to achieve in college athletics these days.
Yeah, and I know there have been plenty of changes for everybody to adapt to, whether it's resource related or scholarship related or all of the above, in order to best facilitate giving yourself a chance to be successful with your revenue generating sports. I think Coach Kitley was just talking about that actually. Yep. Within some recent weeks, given his track and field program, his national title winning track and field program. But let us know. Shoot us a text if you're in the Matador Mob, or leave us a comment on YouTube and what is maybe ranking highest on your bucket list as we speak. And Chris, historically, you're talking about the men's basketball program. Historically, within the most visible on campus, your men's basketball program, save for a Lady Raider national title, may have been the most consistently high achieving, going back to some of those Southwest Conference days and prior. And then I know there was a very, very, very dark valley that you and I and many others endured as well. But we're out of it, and we ain't worried about that anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, you've never bottomed out in baseball, in football, in women's hoops. You've never bottomed out anywhere near what you bottomed out in men's basketball. Before you hired Tubby Smith, it was like, does anybody want this job? Can we attract anybody that wants this job? Can we recruit players here? That's what the most shocking thing about what you just said is that I don't know whether it's one of the top 10 or 15 jobs in the country, but there's not many jobs that can say, hey, no matter the coach, you're going to the NCAAs. No matter the coach, and it does, the coach does matter. You can sell this thing out. You can contend in the top 2 or 3 or 4 in a Big 12 conference. It's absolutely loaded. You can go deep into the NCAA tournament on multiple occasions. You know, other than the baseball run that you had with the various trips to Omaha, but even then, those were like, hey, you're mostly winning home games in most of those cases, just to get to the College World Series, and then you didn't do a whole lot when you got there. The NCAA tournament is, none of these games are at home. They're all tricky. It's a 40-minute pop, and, you know, it's not double elimination and all that. So what you've done in basketball is probably the harder thing to achieve, and yet you've done it. I mean, it's crazy. The banners are up there to speak to it. It's crazy to me when you think about it in those terms.
Yeah, still kind of jars me every once in a while if I'm at the USA to see a Final Four men's basketball banner hanging there and knowing how close we were to having the Natty. And we're going to be back. So go ahead and book it. And stand back, take in the big picture, savor the flavor, because it's a thing of beauty. And if you're a parent to a young Red Raider, make sure that they know where we come from, because I'm reminding mine all the time, it ain't always like this. So you better enjoy it.
Yeah. Chris, because your next basketball game is against University of Colorado. When we were in Boulder, Colorado, okay, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, on the TV call was Chris Walker. That was the first year that I'd ever done this job for the radio standpoint. He happened to be the interim coach that year. You went 1-17 in the Big 12 that year. 1-17, to the point where I would board a plane. You just knew you have no chance to win this game. None. And I was like, this is supposed to be kind of fun. That's just been 10, 11 years ago. So, and then all that you have accomplished has been with all, 4 different head coaches and different coaching staffs, different sets of players. So it ain't always like that. Trust me, because I've seen the other side, and the other side wasn't very pretty.
I still remember Chris Walker for one of the greatest lines in a conversation I had with anybody about basketball. And I'm interviewing him one time, and we were discussing a prolific 3-point shooting attempt number, not paired with prolifically successful make numbers, asking him generally, you ever think about a red light for some of these guys? And he asked me, what happens when they go in? And I didn't have much of an answer other than, I guess you get 3 points, coach, but we ain't seen them go in. And we never did. Shout out to Chris Walker and all others who have come and gone to lay a brick of some kind. Sure, I'll put a brick in his hand for what we're enjoying now. Chris, appreciate a bit of your time to catch up brick by brick, day by day, twice, 3, 4, how many times a day, you never know. So get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. We'll reconvene soon. I got to catch up with you because the Matador Mob is getting antsy on a football assistant coach front. I think first, maybe I'd just like to discuss like a timeline. When do I need to be losing sleep or on the edge of my seat about this thing? Because I may have jumped the gun on rushing to some of that high intensity and high urgency, waiting, pacing, fiddling. People are asking in the neighborhood as I patrol the sidewalk overnight, wondering about the defensive front and leadership in 2026. will be no bigger setup for that conversation I just gave you right there, Chris. So looking forward to it, and we'll see you then.
Keep hope alive, people. We must maintain in chill mode for the time being, man. We no need to freak out. We got a long way to go with a lot of things, but yes, smell the roses right now with what is going on, and we'll get some people hired here quickly. But we'll talk about that next time.
All right. Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks to the Everydayers and the Matador Mob. Hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial. That's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. Speaking of Everydayers, an opportunity now, by the way, got to mention this. Find in our show notes a chance to find ad-free podcast episodes if you're an Everydayer. Hit the show notes, find more information on that, and there's plenty more to come on that front as well. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.